Putin News Now. Modi of India and Putin spoke about Ukraine. As per the Kremlin, a phone conversation between Russian President Vladimir Putin and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi covered the topic of Ukraine. The decision by the International Olympic Committee, IOC, to exclude Russian athletes from the opening ceremony of the 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris is unfair and unjustified, according to Maria Zakharova, a spokesperson for Russia's foreign ministry. Ushvin Mangokia's phone rang on the evening of February 20. The call came from his son Hemel, who informed his family via WhatsApp that he was in a military dorm in the eastern Ukrainian region of Donetsk, which is under Russian occupation. The 23-year-old Hemel reported feeling fine and had warm bedding. However, his dad was aware that his son was attempting to hide his turmoil inside him, as he put it. Despite his official designation as a Russian army assistant, Hemel found himself in a position drastically different from that of an infantryman fighting for Russia in the conflict with Ukraine. That night, he was overcome with a profound desire to return home and didn't want to end the call, Ushvin explained to Al Jazeera while speaking on the phone from his residence in Surat, a city in the western Indian state of Gujarat. We spoke for 1 hour. They would never speak again. In his denunciation of the bloodshed in Ukraine, Pope Francis has reinforced his pleas for peace through discussions and conversation as a means to end the war. In brief words made at the close of the audience, the pontiff emphasized the futility of violence and urged everyone to consider mediating or negotiating an end to the conflict, mentioning the martyred Ukrainian people. In an interview with Swiss broadcaster RSI earlier this month, Francis stoked controversy by urging Ukraine to display the courage of the white flag and initiate talks with Russia, using blocked Russian assets. The Kremlin denounces the EU's Borrell scheme. Russian President Vladimir Putin has said that Josep Borrell, the foreign policy chief of the European Union, is in violation of international law if he proposes that Ukraine acquire weapons from Russia using frozen Russian assets. The Europeans are aware of the damage the ideas are inflicting to their reputations, said Dmitry Peskov, a Kremlin spokesperson, during a call with reporters. India to host Ukrainian foreign minister next week, compile data. The foreign minister of Ukraine, Dmytro Kuleba, will visit India next week to garner support for Kyiv's peace plan, according to 2 anonymous Indian officials who spoke to Reuters. According to one of the officials, Subramanyam Jaishankar of India invited Kuleba to visit, making his visit the first by a major Ukrainian politician since Russia's invasion in 2022. We could expect a formal announcement of the visit next week, according to one of the authorities. India, which has long maintained strong military and economic links with Russia, has remained silent in the face of Russia's invasion of Ukraine and has instead boosted its oil purchases from Russia to unprecedented levels. European Union court lifts sanctions against ex-F1 driver. Russian ex-F1 driver Nikita Mazepin has won a victory at the European Union's General Court, which reversed penalties placed on him in reaction to Russia's actions in Ukraine. The European Union has added 25-year-old racing driver Dmitry Mazepin to its sanctions list because of his ties to the powerful businessman who, according to the EU, was the primary backer of his son's endeavors in the sport. A member of the innermost circle of Putin was how the European Union had characterized Dmitry Mazepin. The court also found that Mazepin had ceased his role as a driver for the Haas F1 team, hence it was incorrect for the EU to maintain the athlete on its sanctions list. In his pursuit of a Formula One comeback, Mazepin is also contesting sanctions imposed by the European Union and Canada.